Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. How's it going? You know the drill, Big Bang Theory is on in the background because that's how we roll around here on Just Olivia. Ew. I hate that I said that. Okay, today I'm doing another book video because my last one did pretty good, I'd say. And I like doing them. Let's say like last 6 months I've been really into reading. And so these kind of videos are really fun for me, so I hope they're fun for you to watch. I have 5-ish books, except 2 of them are a part of a series, so I'll be doing them together, that I will be talking about today. Some I enjoyed, some I didn't enjoy, some are somewhere in the middle, and I'm going to be telling you my honest opinion on if I think you should read them or not. That's what we're doing today. It's a review, not, the other one was a recommendation. This is less of a recommendation and more so just a review of my opinion on these books. Starting off, We Were Liars by Lockhart. This was very popular on Book Talk. If you don't know what Book Talk is, it is a side of TikTok where people talk about books. Pretty self-explanatory. So this was very popular on that side of TikTok. It was recommended to me by a friend. I actually read this with one of my friends as kind of like a book club type of thing. I hated this book. To be blunt, genuinely not a good book in my opinion. Okay, so there's a plot twist in this book that either gets a lot of people or a lot of people are like, okay. I was on the okay kind of side. I actually did predict the plot twist before it happened, so that's why it wasn't as much for me. So I'm going to try and give you a little summary of what this book is without spoiling anything. Basically, there are these group of kids called the Liars, and they're all cousins except for one of them. He's not related to any of them. But they're called the Liars. They never explain why they're called the Liars. I don't know. Just go with it. And their family is extremely rich, and they have this, like, estate, private island type of thing that they go to every summer. And so it follows this group of kids. It follows this rich, white, privileged family. Their kind of struggles, I guess. And the certain dumb things they get themselves into in the summer. I don't know what else to say without spoiling the book. So things I liked about the book, because last time I did things I liked and things I disliked, so I'm going to try hard to find something I like, because I genuinely didn't like this book. Things I liked is probably the character Gat. I think he was an interesting character, because since they were such a privileged white family, him being not white, I guess, but also from a different family background, kind of made the dynamic of the group a little bit. He brought something different to the table. And there's also a line in here where he's discussing with the main character, Katie, or Cadence, that he doesn't believe in God, and she's like, why? And he's like, because no God out there would have certain people live in poverty or have certain people in terrible situations. And that was like really eye-opening to me. I was like, damn, Gat, you got a point there. So I did like Gat's character. I can give that to you, Lockhart. Things I didn't like was the way how it was written. It was so sloppy and hard to follow. Like, I never knew what was going on. And also just the way how she described things. Maybe it's just their writing style. Maybe it's just a style of writing I hadn't been exposed to yet, but I don't like this writing style. It was just too all over the place, and I didn't know what was going on, because that meant to be interpreted literally. I wasn't sure. Like, they were just, like, I annotated this book, and there are so many annotations of me not understanding. I also didn't like the way how the chapters were. So they were like this, but they were extremely short, and they didn't always end at the tops of pages. Like, see, another chapter starts here. So it was kind of complicated for me because I wasn't, it was a lot more difficult to count chapters. If that's a factor to you when it comes to reading books, I don't know. For me, it was, though. So overall, I do not think this is worth the read. If you want to read it and try and prove me wrong and be like, no, this is actually a good book, go for it. But I don't think I got anything from reading this. Next, You Will Get Through This Night by Daniel Howell. If you know me at all, you will know that I am a major fan of Dan and Phil. So I might be a little bit biased doing this review, but I will try my best not to be. You'll Get Through This Night is, as it says at the top, a practical mental health guide. It's basically just like, there are certain exercises to follow along to help you with mental health. There's certain advice. There's personal experiences from Dan himself. And just so we're clear, all of the like advice and information he gives is all approved by a psychologist. So this is not just him aimlessly giving advice to random people. He did have it approved. I just want to clarify that. And it's broken up into 3 like main groups. There's This Night, which is learn how to manage your thoughts and feelings in tough times. Tomorrow, change your everyday habits to be healthier and happier. And then the days after that, understand your behavior and how to treat yourself with compassion to tackle life's challenges. So I do like how, that's something I liked about it. I do like how it was split up into 3 things so that you could be like, okay, what can I do now? What can I do like in a week? And what can I do in like the future? I did like how it was constructed like that. And some things that I didn't like were, there was a lot of repetition about breathing and mindfulness, and I know that that's like actually a major part of mental health. Like if you're having a panic attack, breathing and mindfulness and grounding and all of that is really important. And sometimes you can easily forget that, even though it's like a basic thing that we're constantly doing, breathing, we sometimes forget to do it when we're in a stressful situation. So it does make sense that it was repeated a lot, but I did find it like a little bit too repetitive to the point where I was like, okay, like I get it now, you know? Also, another thing is, this is different in the sense of like reading a fictional book, because it's not, you can't just like read straight through it because it's not like a story to follow. It's like a literal guide. So I feel like it has to be rated a little bit differently than the rest of the books. But overall, I do think this would be a good thing to like go back to. Like when you're having a stressful point in your life, you go back to this, look at the exercises, read through and just like know that you can be seen, because there were a couple things that he said in here where I was like, wow, I've never heard anyone else say that. I didn't know other people thought that, or I didn't know other people have experienced that. So that part made me feel really good, because I was like, okay, it's not just me. So I did like that. Overall, I do think it's worth the read, because I did get some things out of it. Even if you don't get something out of it like right away, you could still again go back to it and refer to it in later times in your life. So I think that this is very, as it says, practical. I do think it's worth the read. Next, Moxie. I don't like the cover. I don't think this is the original cover. They changed it because of the movie. Although that doesn't look like the girl who's in the movie, so I'm not sure. We'll get to the movie after, because that's not a part of the book review. So basically, Moxie is about how Vivian, she goes to a school where the football guys are basically worshipped. They're allowed to get away with anything, and no one says anything, because the captain of the football team, his dad is the principal. So he's basically like the golden kid of the school. Everyone worships him, everyone worships the football guys. And the girls, they get extremely mistreated, lots of sexism. And so basically Vivian takes a stand because of inspiration from her mom's youth in the 90s. She was called a riot girl, where it's like, you know, just standing up for what's right. And so Vivian took inspiration for that and made her own type of campaign, I guess, which was called Moxie. And so she made posters, put them around the school, except she did this all anonymously because she didn't want anyone to know it was her, or she also wanted it to just be like everyone, not just one person doing it. And it's basically, it's just about feminism. And I did really like this because it shows how important using your voice can be and how you can make a change. So I did really like that. So I also really liked, what's it called? The Dedicated To. For all the teenage women fighting the good fight, and for my 12th grade current topics teacher for calling me a feminazi in front of the entire class. You insulted me, but you also sparked my interest in feminism, so really the joke is on you. Revenge is served cold, you jerk. love that. Oh, I don't think I said who this is written by. Jennifer Mathieu. Mathieu? I don't think I said that in the beginning. I also loved Seth's character. I think everyone loves Seth. Like, everyone loves Seth. However, I do think this book is worth the read, but now I'm going to talk about the movie. Because I did watch the movie, or at least I watched part of the movie after I read the book. I was so excited to watch the movie because before that I saw an edit of Seth and I was like, oh my god, he's pretty cute. And then I was like, I'm gonna watch the movie. And I was really looking forward to it and I was extremely let down. The movie is not like the book at all. Like, yes, the concept is loosely the same thing, but there were so many little details that were totally off, and I couldn't get past that. I couldn't ignore it, so I couldn't finish the movie. I just didn't finish the movie. Like, it annoyed me so much. I hate when that happens, when you read a book and you really like it, and then you watch the movie, and it's not similar whatsoever. I was like, how is that possible? Like, you don't need to do any of the work. You have the script here for you, already written, and you still somehow failed. Like, how? I don't know. Was Jennifer Mathieu not a part of the process of making the movie? I don't know. But overall, I didn't like the movie. If you haven't read the book and you watch the movie, that's a different story. I bet you could still enjoy it. But the fact that I read the book and it was so different from the movie, I just couldn't look past that. It just bugged me too much. If you're the kind of person who can separate them and be like, yeah, I read the book, I'm fine with the fact that the movie's different, good for you. However, I found out that I cannot do that. So overall, I don't know if I said, yes, worth the read if you are into feminism, or even if you're not into feminism, I think it's worth the read because Claudia, her best friend, in the beginning, she was a little bit hesitant about all of this, wasn't sure, but in the end, everything ended up working out. So even if you're not a feminist, which I don't understand how, like, if you're a girl, you should be a feminist. Why do you not want equal rights? But also, boys should be feminists too. Everyone should be a feminist. So read this, no matter who you are. Definitely worth the read. Okay, last is The Heir and The Crown, which are written by Kiera Cass. You might recognize these because it's a continuation, sort of the selection series that I had in my first book recommendation video. I love Kiera Cass. All of her books are amazing. I'm going to give you a little summary of what this is about. Basically, Maxon and America, the main characters from the selection series, the first 3 books, 20 years later, their daughter, Edelyn Shreve, she goes on to do her own selection, except this time it's a little bit different. First off, she's the first princess to do it. It's usually meant to be done by a prince, but she's 7 minutes older than her twin, so she has to be the one to do it, and she's going to be the one who's going to be queen next. Except the selection wasn't her choice. The mom and dad did this as a distraction because there was a lot of things going on in the country, a mess, and so they needed a distraction while they could figure it out, and the only thing they thought of was a selection for Edelyn. So she does the selection, and something that was very interesting and was also kind of similar to America, her mother, was that she was not interested in falling in love. She didn't want to be married, except there was a bit of a difference. Edelyn was just independent. She didn't think she needed a husband, and I loved that attitude from her. I was like, yes, she's a boss, she don't need no man, but it does end up working out really nice. There were so many plot twists in these, and that's what I love about Kiera Cass. It's never dull in her books. There's always something happening, and when you think everything's okay, she hits you with another plot twist and you're sat there. Like, this one especially, the last one, The Crown, I was just sitting there reading it with my mouth open. I was like, oh my god. I really wish I could say more, but there's not much I can say without spoiling it. Characters that I loved Kyle so much. Oh, I love Kyle. I like Eric, he's great. Who else do I like? And I guess Elin, too. She's a good character. It did kind of annoy me in this one where she was like, because she was so closed off and she wasn't letting herself actually be a part of the selection because she was just trying to build walls around herself. I did actually, you know what, I did write a poem about her. Hi everyone, this is Editing Olivia coming in. I forgot to read the poem while I was filming, so I'm gonna add this in of me reading it. My guard is up and it's not coming down, not for anyone, I can't lose this crown. I wouldn't say I'm afraid to feel, although these past few weeks has made this problem a lot more real. I have these walls up for good reasons. Even though the people around me seem in love, I don't believe them. I must continue to protect myself, for these boys are certainly not good for my health. I know what I want, and it's definitely not this, a lover, a marriage, a dashing prince. Why don't people think I'm good enough on my own? I don't need someone to accompany me at the throne. They keep on pushing me, but I don't care. Being honest with myself is just too hard to bear. I know I'll find a way out, I always do, because you're Edelin Shreve, and no one is as powerful as you. There we go. That's a line that's commonly used in the book, so I wasn't just being clever. That's literally straight from the book. Back to your regular programming. Something I disliked about this series is, I'm trying to think. Oh, I didn't really love the way how this one ended. I wished it ended with a wedding. It just kind of ended with who she ended up picking. And even though I do think the ending was great, I think it just would have wrapped it up so much better if there was a wedding. Because this is the end. Like, this is the end of the series. There's the 3 books, which is the original selection with Maxon and America. There's another one, which is kind of like background information on the characters of the selection ones. And then there's these ones. And this is the end of the series. So I feel like for the last book, there should have been a better, more sentimental ending, I guess, but it just felt a little bit abrupt. So that was the only thing I disliked about it. But overall, I love Kiera Cass, and I think these books are great. 100% worth the read, but I definitely think that you should start with the other books. Start with the selection, then the elite, then the one, then I guess you could consider it like a half book, like it's kind of like 3.5. I think it's called Happily Ever After, and then The Heir and The Crown. Read them all. They are all worth the read. I loved them. Me and my Nana read them together, and we both loved them. So definitely worth the read. Oh, another thing I disliked are just the covers, because I'm not a fan of real people on the covers. I said that for Moxie as well, so I feel like I have to say that too. But amazing books. The cover doesn't really matter. So that is all the books. Wait, I feel like this would be a good thumbnail. Okay. Those are all the books that I've read recently. If you do read any of these books, let me know. I'm always up to talk about them because, as you can see, I'm clearly very enthusiastic about books that I read. So that is all for the video. Thank you for watching. I am sweating. That is the end. I need to go stand next to a fan or something. Anyways, okay, bye.